gaming news is wild. I mean, I just found out all the people in video games are fake. I thought there was a bunch of little guys running around in there. I'm gonna miss them. Bungie has removed a $15 Destiny 2 starter pack from sale after massive player backlash, which has been happening so frequently this story's first sentence was made out of 98% recycled material. The starter pack contained 3 exotic weapons, 3 cosmetics, and some crafting materials, and was marketed as a way for new players to get a head start. But according to experienced players, it was actually a noob trap, one of many such hazards used by noob poachers. See, the build-defining exotic weapons in the starter pack's supercharged arsenal, quote unquote, really aren't part of the game's meta right now, meaning beginners could be paying $15 for the chance to embarrass themselves in PvP. On top of that, the amount of crafting materials included in the pack takes about 2 hours to collect in-game, for free. Fortunately, Bungie scrapped the starter pack when they heard it is not something bringing joy. I guess we owe this small victory over excessive microtransactions to Marie Kondo. But even after a thorough Kondo clean, I still can't see why Bungie would try and rip off new Destiny 2 players when the game's player base is dwindling. This year has seen a mediocre expansion launch, a developer update so out of touch that the game director had to release a 17-minute YouTuber-style apology video, studio layoffs that gutted the beloved community support team, and the announcement that players had to suffer 4 more months of the mediocre expansion because its replacement got delayed. We've had 4 scandals, yes, but what about 5th scandal? Ubisoft accidentally leaked details of their upcoming Beyond Good and Evil remaster, including the game itself. That's a big detail. While the Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition was already leaked by an ESRB rating back in August, an Xbox store page was listed on Tuesday, and the page's screenshots and game description were tweeted out by Wario64. Even worse than that, some number of Ubisoft Plus subscribers, perhaps 2 of the 5, were able to download and play it. Now, Ubisoft tried to put the genie back in the bottle by copyright claiming gameplay videos, but the damage had been done. We now know the remastered game will be playable in 4K at 60 FPS, and there's a new treasure hunt throughout the game's setting, which may be a tie-in to the sequel Beyond Good and Evil 2, which will probably have its own 20th Anniversary Edition remaster sometime after my grandchildren die. Speaking of dying, that's what happened to Ubisoft's hopes of unleaking the remastered Beyond Good and Evil 1, so they decided to officially confirm it on Twitter. They also stated that the game that leaked to Ubisoft Plus subscribers was an early development version, which isn't surprising, because that's true of every Ubisoft release.
Pre-orders, you mean alpha testers?
Microsoft announced a new compact mode for the Xbox app that will make it more compatible with Windows handhelds. The app update was originally released to Xbox insiders last month, but now anyone can decide to try out Microsoft's revamped game launcher in the unlikely situation that Steam Big Picture mode is shut down because Gabe Newell exploded. Now, I think what everyone really wants is a handheld mode for Windows itself, not just the Xbox app, but there's still some improvements here. The most important change for handheld enjoyers is that the sidebar now collapses to icons, making for a more pleasant experience on devices like the ROG Ally or the Lenovo Legion Go. And speaking of the Ally, Microsoft also said they're partnering with Asus and other manufacturers to make compact mode the default on handheld devices, so you don't even have to look at the revolting non-compact version. There's also now a game services repair tool for PC, which should help with any issues pertaining to installing or updating games or even missing content. This is great news for the writer of this episode, Jacob, as he has been missing the bonus content that was supposed to come with his copy of Starfield since the game's release. And that's one of the reasons he stopped playing the game, along with all of the other very good reasons.
All the corpses in my ship keep wrecking the frame rate.
How am I supposed to carry around all my corpses? Now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by Green Man Gaming. Today's the last chance to hop on their Black Friday sale and snag huge discounts on titles like Destiny 2, Remnant 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, and thousands of other games that may or may not feature the number 2. Plus, as an added bonus, GMG is going to hook you up with a lifetime XP Gold membership that'll lock even more exclusive discounts. Just create an account, add the invitation pack to your cart, and use code LINUSXP at checkout. Time is running out, so make sure to check out the link below. You know, I once quick bit off more than I could chew. I quick choked and had to be taken to the quick hospital. I could have quick died. Larian Studios has released a 5th patch for Baldur's Gate 3, and it's what we here in the biz call a doozy. There's 3,589 added lines of dialogue, new cinematics, and a playable new epilogue. There's also a new custom mode and an honor mode that increases the game's difficulty, makes bosses more unpredictable, and prevents save scumming, rather than letting players reload and reroll checks infinitely like the world's most lenient DM. The patch also fixes an issue with the game's decision engine, where it would get stuck deciding if anyone saw every crime you committed when you thought no one was looking, leading it to brood over the player's past sins in an unending loop. Or what I call a Friday night. Speaking of patches, CD Projekt Red has announced a surprise 2.1 patch to Cyberpunk 2077 will come out December 5th, after stating Phantom Liberty's release last month would mark the end of the game's development. I'm not mad, CD Projekt Red, I just want to know where we stand. What? The announcement states that the patch will be introducing new and hotly anticipated gameplay elements, fire emoji, but it's otherwise thin on detail. What could possibly be left to add? The option to romance Idris Elba? More nipple customization options? The option to romance Idris Elba's nipples? Just some ideas. Playing the excellent Half-Life Alyx on a Meta Quest headset just got easier thanks to Valve, who launched the Steam Link app on the Quest store today. Now, you can stop yelling at the screen, because I know you could already play Steam games on the Quest, wirelessly and wiredly, but it always required going through the Oculus app on PC, either to use Oculus Air Link or Virtual Desktop, which takes more time and adds processing overhead. Steam Link lets you wirelessly play Steam VR games without a middleman app that's basically scalping your gameplay, except you're both the supplier and the customer. It didn't make any sense. Anyway, it's better now. Earlier this week, it was reported that former Rockstar Studios veterans like production co-chair Laszlo Jones and Red Dead Redemption series writer Michael Unsworth are now working at Absurd Ventures, the company created by Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser this year. And now that company has announced what all that game developing talent is working on: a graphic novel and an audio drama. I guess that kind of makes sense. Laszlo Jones produced GTA's satirical radio station dialogue, and Unsworth's writing is superb, but an audio drama? Big Grandma's bony fingers are reaching everywhere now. If you don't get that reference, watch the last game linked. And cute cult simulator, Cult of the Lamb, might be adding sex to the game, because the developers underestimated how thirsty the internet is. After a game update called Sins of the Flesh was announced, many players incorrectly assumed from the title that the game's ritual sacrifices would soon come with a side helping of hanky-panky. Oh boy, okay. After the game's developers mistakenly assumed players were just memeing, they announced they would add sex to the game, whatever that means, if they reached 300,000 Twitter followers by the end of the year. And that took 2 hours. Really?
No matter how thirsty you think the internet is, it's thirstier.
Never underestimate. And it'll only take a few days until it's Tuesday again, when you can enjoy some more gaming news. Unless you're in horny jail right now. And you are on the internet, so, bonk.